Welcome back, Dudes of Divination. Here we are with another GM Spotlight. We got Brandon over here, and we're going to be talking about holidays in your game. So, Stay tuned. Holidays. Hollandaise sauce.
Hollandaise in your game.
So, Brandon, you wanted to talk about holidays because it is nearing Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, it is Cinco de Mayo Eve, and I had planned on having a fiesta for the occasion, but we just got like 6 straight days of rain, so my yard is Lake Brandon right now, and I don't want to have company over. But it made me think about holidays in role-playing games.
Yeah, and I think there's a few different things we can talk about. Definitely both on the outside of the game and the inside. So let's kind of talk about how holidays can affect your, like, real-world holidays can affect your game positively and negatively.
I guess my only experience I have with a real-world holiday in-game is we ran a one-shot Halloween game. It was just one year I said, take a break from the normal game, let's run a Halloween game. And I drew up a dungeon that same day, and it was sort of like the Headless Horseman was the theme. There was a village plagued by a Headless Horseman, and it turned out that he was just a vampire
Thrall.
I can't think of the word. Thrall, there you go. And yeah, so that's what it was. But everybody had a lot of fun with it, and the goal there was to have different holiday games. So we were going to do Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day. Just as the holidays went along, we were going to do that. It never happened, but it sounded like a good idea.
Definitely.
I think they're super fun one-off games. And even as like a one-off inside of an existing campaign. Like,
Oh, yeah. Because even if it's not, like, you can fit holidays into your setting, like even real world holidays. Oh man, tongue tied today. But like to his point, Halloween, that's a harvest festival of like the fall harvest, and then obviously something can go awry. There's a pumpkin man running around all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Or you got a monster running behind you.
I had the idea to run a Thanksgiving game, super off the wall, but that you needed to prepare a great feast for a village, and that all of the things that you would need to get were creatures that were in the forest. So, like, giant Mr. Sweet Potato head, and then, like, a giant turkey would have been the boss. Like,
Yeah.
a living cranberry tree, and just things like that. Stupid things, but things that would be memorable and things that would be super fun, like, for players. You could do like a Christmas setting where
Right.
there's like the bad guy is dressed as Santa Claus or something like that.
That'd be cool. Go
Yeah.
beat up Santa.
Yeah. Or maybe it could be Santa Claus under the influence of some illithid creature or something
Right.
like that.
That would be fun. Another thing to think about with holidays is that your world, especially like for you DMs out there, your world should have realistically it should have some sort of memory or benchmark, unless it literally came into existence at the moment your players became a thing. There is history, there's past. So having those holidays, having like a King's Day or a Queen's Day, or for us President's Day, it makes sense to have, like, those are very basic days. Again, in the real world we don't really celebrate it, but I mean, for King's Day it could be like a bringing of offerings, and if you enter a city that's celebrating King's Day, you have to make an offering to the city showing your homage to the king. Or even like it could be the celebration of a great battle, maybe like the town, or again, I keep saying town, but it could even just be a village. Maybe they thwarted a plot, and every year now they do something specific. Like, what was it? Avatar, The Last Airbender, they made a great example of where, like, Avatar goes into this town, and they have some weird holidays where, like, they have to do some things, and then because he like does something, they change the holiday, and now he was like supposed to be boiled in oil as a punishment, and then he stopped it, and then so now their new holiday is eating raw dough, because that way it's to commemorate him not being boiled in oil. So that's obviously an off the wall Nickelodeon reference, but
was that a Nickelodeon show?
Yeah, but you get the idea. Like, so the town could be like, oh, on this day we like bow to everyone because our hero like had to duck under like the attack of the history's big bad boss,
sure,
and that's how you defeated him, or some really odd thing. We hop around on one leg because the hero only had one leg. Just some weird stuff like that, and like it would just give your players, like, even those silly little things, again, narrative differences, just kind of gives you something fun and new to try. I don't know. I think holidays are a great idea, and I think they get missed very often because, I mean, you don't think about it, right? I mean, there's 11 major holidays in a year. You don't really think about that. In a role-playing setting, maybe 5 things in a year? And if you're super concentrate, there's a lot of things going on. So with that, it's not a bad idea to go through your calendar and like make a calendar for your NPC or for your PCs and let them keep track of like days and weeks, because then they can all of a sudden come up on, oh, hey, what is hogwash day? Oh, hogwash day. And just have like some weird adventure.
Yeah, and that's a great idea because it might incorporate something that you forgot about. Say you have a great idea for a holiday, like using hogwash day as an example. Someday, like maybe there was a strange wizard whose familiar was a pig, and he was a folk hero. He came through town, and while he was in town, he washed his pig in the town square. So now, to commemorate this great wizard who is known throughout all the lands, washing his pig in the village, this small little nowhere village, their presence was graced by this great hero. They now have Hogwash Day, where all the villagers bring their pigs into the town square and wash them. That something you're probably not going to remember, like something weird, abstract like that. You jot it down, give your characters a calendar, and then they're in the calendar, and they might remind you of it, and
you're like, hey, what's this? Yeah, exactly. And, giving your characters more work as far as keeping track of your story is super beneficial, because you as a DM, you really have so much work. And I mean, again, that's not really understated, but it's true. I mean, you're keeping track of the plot, the enemies, the narratives, the NPCs. You got a lot of stuff up in the air. What's the one thing what's the many things that are going to get thrown by the wayside? Tracking time and holidays.
Also, giving the PCs more to do will keep them better engaged in your world.
Right? They could be like really waiting for like a holiday because they want to, like your bard, he wants to go inspire. Maybe he's like he just wants like the biggest fandom, and he is going to just wait for these minor holidays to like spread his name and his word. So for that, and even like holidays bring out a lot of hiring and things. Like people remember things on holidays, so you might have like a benefactor being like, oh, I remember I lost my sword, I need to go retrieve that. Here, quick, hire this party, go find my sword. You know what I mean? Like, just it gives you a lot of opportunities to expand your world outside of just the adventure you may or may not have prepared.
And your world should be like a living place. Living places have holidays, so it makes sense that your world should have some holidays. And they don't all have to be abstract. They don't have to all be Hogwash Day or Lost Sword Day. Like they could just be a total ripoff of existing holidays.
Oh yeah, like Thanksgiving is a perfect one.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, even Halloween, where everybody puts on some crazy costumes to commemorate spirits or like local legends or whatever it may be. Cinco de Mayo, everybody gets drunk because the Mexicans do it. That's what but really, you think about it, that's what Cinco de Mayo is. How many people do you know celebrate Cinco de Mayo that are not Mexican? I was going to have a Cinco de Mayo party. I'm white bread. So it's a fun holiday. There's a lot of holidays that are just born because of fun. Like that you could
St. Patrick's Day.
All of the humans, right. Everybody goes and drinks on St. Patrick's Day, not because they're Irish, just as an excuse to drink. Like, you could have a dwarven drinking holiday or an elven drinking holiday.
Or even, like, your deity, right? You could have, like, Pelor's drinking day, where, like, in homage to Pelor, everyone goes and has, 8 tankards of ale.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a Pelor thing, but neither does white people drinking on Mexican Day, so doesn't have to make sense. That's like what holidays are. But yeah, they provide a great break from the just monotony of here's your quest, go do your quest, and using them as a downtime activity other than you want to spend some gold or you want to clean your gear or you want to craft a weapon or whatever. Using a holiday or a festival or something like that as a downtime activity is great.
Yeah, and I think to our point that we made earlier, the breathability of life into your campaign. I think that's a lot of things that we can talk about, and I think we probably will in these DM Spotlight videos. It's just different ways in which you as a DM can use these tips to breathe life into your game, and especially for players out there, be like, hey, I know you got a lot of stuff going on here. Let me take care of the calendar. I want to make a calendar for your universe. And you know what? Any GM out there who is not like super anal about like, oh, this timeline has to go here or whatever, they're gonna be like, go for it.
Yeah. If a player in my game had approached me with something like that they wanted to do for my game world, by all means, go ahead. Like,
right.
I've already invested a lot of time into my game world. If you want to invest some more to make it better, that's great.
So we talked about holidays today. We talked about real-world holidays and how they influence games, running one-offs and such. We talked about implementing holiday games or holidays into your game.
They're great one-shots.
They're great one-shots, and they're great for keeping a stale game kind of fresh. So that's what we got for you today. Dudes of Divination here, bringing you holidays. Be sure you like and subscribe. Comment below on what kind of holiday you would like to see in a game, and maybe your dungeon master might put it in, or maybe we might steal it and put it in our game.
Use Hogwash Day. Tell me how that works. That's a great idea.
Hogwash Day.
Strange thing. You come into town, there's a bunch of villagers washing pigs in the town square. Happy Hogwash Day.
Yeah, there's just a banner. Happy Hogwash Day. What the hell's Hogwash Day? So anyway, we're Dudes of Divination. We'll see you at the table.